Hi, folks. This is the Fighting Nerd and his co-host, Jolly Roger, coming to you from the Resistance Bunker. First of all, I want to apologize for having the camera right in my face here, but I'm hoping that having it closer will stop my out-of-sync audio problems that I always have. Because the microphone is built into my webcam, and right now I can't afford better equipment. So I'm trying to get this audio synced up. Uh, I'm going to try to do a video every Saturday. So, uh, unless something else like a fall down the stairs, or as I like to call it, a vicious, unprovoked attack by gravity occurs. Okay, now, for the meat of this night's video. Violence never solves anything. Horsepucky. That's got to be in the top 10 sayings. Well, excuse me, it's got to be in the top 10 most idiotic sayings ever to pass human lips. And it's demonstrably false. On a micro level, go through history. On a macro level, go through history. Punic Wars. Rome versus Carthage. Carthage lost. The city of Carthage was burnt and the earth salted so nothing would ever grow there again. In Rome, ruled what was then Western civilization for the next 1,000 years. Carthage was never a power again. World War II. Nazi Germany. Nazism was wiped out through force of arms. And we still have a few Nazis around here, and there are still a few wannabe fascists, but effectively, Nazism was solved. Europe was saved from that scourge through force of arms. On a more personal level, school bully gets his ass kicked. He's not a bully anymore. Because when confronted with force greater than his own, he stopped. And telling people, especially children, that violence never solves anything is harmful to that child. Because that's the same thing as telling him that there is nothing worth fighting for. And that includes his personal safety, possibly his life. Or her life. It is one of those sayings that people just tell people, just say, because it's been repeated so often. And as I said, it's dangerous. I think that you have to prepare your child for the possibility he may be, well, he or they, we'll say they, we'll use an all-inclusive they. That child may be confronted with violence in his life. Matter of, I say his life again. I know, politically incorrect. But that children may be confronted with violence in their life. And telling them that violence never solves anything makes it likely that they'll never fight back, even to defend themselves. And that's crazy. And you could really scar the child for life, maybe even cost him his life if the situation is serious enough. There is such a thing as righteous violence, and sometimes it does solve problems. Sometimes it is the only solution to a problem. We'll go back to history again with Nazi Germany. The only way you were going to get rid of the Nazis was to smash them, was to kill a great many of them and break their stuff. Sometimes the only way to defeat violence is through greater violence, applied more skillfully. So teach your children to defend themselves. And if you don't know how to defend yourselves, learn to defend yourself. Perhaps you and your children can attend the same classes and learn together. Learn how to defend themselves intelligently with their hands and with weapons. Teach them how to use weapons. Because the world is only getting more violent, folks. It is not getting more peaceful, and it's not going to. If you're of a Christian faith, you believe it will one day, when Christ returns. And that's fine, but you don't know when that's going to happen. It could happen 30 seconds from now, or it can happen 30 years from now, or it could happen 300 years from now. Now, yeah, defend themselves, yes. Now, that doesn't mean raise them to be snotty so they can grow up and run their mouth and start fights and win the fights they started. No. Defend themselves, teach them to defend themselves intelligently. There's a saying, and I'm not sure where I heard it, but it makes a lot more sense than violence never solves anything. And that saying is this, that the only thing more stupid than not knowing when to fight is not even knowing how to. Now, this is going to be a relatively short video because in my mind there's a lot more to say. Say that violence never solves anything is almost like saying violence doesn't even exist. That if it doesn't solve anything, then you don't need to worry about dealing with it. I am not glorifying violence here. I am simply acknowledging the fact that violence exists. Violence might be perpetrated against me. It might be perpetrated against anybody watching this video. But you have a choice how you respond to violence. You have a choice to prepare for the possibility of a violent encounter. Because when a violent encounter occurs, you're either prepared or you're not. As I said, the world is just going to get violent, more violent. And it's going to get more violent everywhere. I live in a little town in Ohio, and it has a little under 5,000 people in it. 2 streets over from where I'm sitting right now, some guy was shot dead and left to lay in the street for some school kids to find. About 3 or 4 months ago. So the idea that violence never solves anything is delusional, and it's a dangerous delusion. And I'm begging you people out there with children not to raise them while enforcing that delusion. So that's the pretty simple message today. Now, next week's video is going to be a nerdy video, not a fighting video. I try to switch them off. And quite frankly, my nerdy videos are much more popular than my fighting videos, but I'm going to continue to do both because I like doing them both. Don't have a lot of subscribers. My videos don't get a lot of views, but I'm hoping they will. I'm going to try to improve the quality. So, That's pretty much it. I want you to remember that a dull knife is an insult to the universe. And I am going to bid you good night. This is the Fighting Nerd and his co-host Jolly Roger, bidding you good night from the Resistance Bunker. Good night.